I related to Lady Bird a lot. I don't know if you did. Like,
yeah, sort of. I mean, like I had a single mother.
I'm more of a daughter to my mother than I am a son.
Yeah, seriously.
So. Brunch, hit it, boys. It's Monday, and people are gonna be pissed at me.
Why? Oh, no.
Just because I'm just gonna say it out the gate, and please, like, you know us, we're fine, we're good for it. I don't think sexism is why Lady Bird didn't win Best Picture, and a lot of people think that.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Lady Bird. Scott McLaughlin said it last night. That, like, he was like, did he say that Lady Bird should have won?
I don't know. I can't
he said
remember.
Something, but
I
basically my
agree with
takeaway.
A lot of his takes,
right?
But
And he was pretty.
yeah.
Pretty like I think he hit like 6 for 6 on like the big nominations or whatever.
Like
and
predictions.
So he's
and
smart.
Yeah.
And he said
and
something.
He sees everything.
Right. And I said, and I think we have the same take
But
here.
he's a guy.
Right. Yes. We have the same take here. It's like everything in the Best Picture category this year was either usually not good enough to be a Best Picture or not tailored to be a Best Picture. Which is kind of where I still land. Like, Get Out was the best movie this year. I resigned myself to the fact that it was not going to win Best Picture.
Yeah.
The Shape of Water won last night. I'm not mad about it.
Right.
I could have been very mad at what got picked for Best Picture.
Yeah.
There were like 3 or 4 different options that would have made me really mad. I'm glad that I'm not really mad.
Yeah, I think that there was one elite movie and 2 great ones, and one of the great ones won. So like I, as long as one of those 3 won, I wouldn't be mad.
And I'm assuming you're saying Get Out, Phantom Thread, and Shape of Water.
And
okay.
I liked Phantom Thread just a little more than I liked Shape of Water. But I loved Shape of Water. That movie fucking rules. But so I saw a tweet, and it was getting like a lot of buzz and stuff. And it was saying, and it sucks because it makes a good point, but in like just the incorrect way. Mm-hmm. And it was like Lady Bird tells the like painful relationship that can exist between a mother and a daughter. Maybe it would have won Best Picture if the Academy had more women in it. And so the point they're making is, why doesn't the Academy have more women? And I'm like, fuck yeah. Tweet that. Why doesn't the Academy have more women? Like, how come only one movie that was directed by a woman was nominated? What women-directed movies were better? What movies could have been made better by this director, that director, whatever, things like that. But you lose me when we're acting like Lady Bird's fucking better than Get Out.
You're right. Yeah.
And imagine the balls to think
that it was like a shoo-in
right.
over any of those movies.
Right, because by saying that it was screwed because of the lack of women in the Academy, which, again, get more women in the Academy.
Right.
Like, it is fucking weird if it's a bunch of old fucking white guys. But acting like that's what prevented a good, not great movie from winning Best Picture is so fucking insulting to a Phantom or fucking The Shape of Water, but like mainly for me, Get Out. Like, Get Out is the snub there. Get Out is the I'm fine with Shape of Water winning, but it for sure should have been this movie.
Yeah. And sort of in that same vein, I saw. Do you know like Peter Rosenberg or whatever?
No.
He's like a radio person, I think, for Sirius XM or something. And he had like a bad tweet go viral last night.
What was it?
It was like I thought the Oscars were all about diversity, and yet somehow here we are. Gary Oldman, the old white guy in a boring movie, wins Best Actor, and it's like, yeah, but like
I kind of don't hate that take.
No, I mean, I don't. Because like if you're just gonna like
instead like
fuck
that,
Gary
Oldman.
There's not really like a connection there. I think the 2 best candidates in that category were Gary Oldman and Daniel Day-Lewis.
So Kaluuya for me was my I wouldn't be mad.
Really, I thought that he was pretty low on that list.
I don't know. I rewatched Get Out yesterday, and just I guess I'd never really focused on how good the performances were in Get Out because like your mind is so fucking busy being blown that like I was texting you during it, like Kaluuya and Bradley Whitford both fucking murdered that. The big takeaway for me the first couple times I saw it was that Allison Williams was fucking like
horrifying because it was so out of character.
Right, yeah, you know. But yeah, watching yesterday, Kaluuya
I mean, he was for sure
Bradley
like
Whitford.
really good. But I wouldn't say that like.
But like Day-Lewis was so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
So, like I honestly, like Oldman barely registered for me. Like as I was watching it, I wasn't like, oh my god, Gary Oldman's killing this. I was like, no one's making this interesting. Gary Oldman included. Like it's your responsibility. But I don't know. Like
I'm mad at us for being dumb enough to think that Daniel Day-Lewis is going to win that.
I know. Shame on us.
I really was.
We assumed that what was by far the best performance would win.
Yeah. No. I'm a little disappointed because like it was the most mortal lock of all time that Gary Oldman was going to take that home, and everybody knew it.
Yeah. Oh God, it sucked. And his speech fucking blew.
Yeah, it did. And I did not realize that he was a wife beater until after the fact.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how that's.
Fuck this guy.
Oh, you didn't know that either?
No, I think
I sent it in the text chain last night.
Did I react?
No.
I was gonna say I was probably like, cool, like because I'm just responding to a million texts.
No, but Jeff responded saying like, oh yeah, like so. I think that's like a well-known thing.
How did Daniel Day-Lewis like? It's a guy won this award because it didn't fucking look like him. Like
he was
think
good.
About
like
that.
I don't want to like take credit away from Gary Oldman. He was
the
good.
First thing everyone says is, if you didn't know it was Gary Oldman,
yeah, no shit.
Whoa. Like,
but that's why that you win for costumes.
Celebrate
or,
Halloween
makeup.
for me one time.
That's why you win for makeup, in which they did, which is cool. Like that, you got that part out of the way. It didn't look like fucking Gary Oldman. Congrats. But no, I hate the fact that everybody's reasoning was like, well, Daniel Day-Lewis has won multiple times, and Gary Oldman's owed one, and it's like, well, fucking give it to him when he earns one.
Yeah, exactly. I used to get pissed every year. The NHL awards. A lot of people would be like, well, it's got to be Shea Weber sometime, right? I mean, Shea Weber's never won a Norris.
Yeah, well, not if he's not the best defenseman.
And I'm like, well, Shea Weber's been a very good and not the best defenseman for a long time.
That's like the Andrei Kopitar winning over Patrice Bergeron.
Oh, man, I had a little meltdown that time.
It's like, chances are Patrice Bergeron's going to be the best defensive forward every year.
And so this is just like a bigger takeaway. And throw out, like, I'm way off the Lady Bird, like, sexism argument. Since when is not winning, again, with the exception of Daniel Day-Lewis in Phantom Thread, since when is not winning like this major fucking
like shame.
slight? Yeah. Like I was listening to the radio this morning and they were saying like, why do you think 3 Billboards lost Best Picture?
Because only one movie can win.
Yeah, like only one fucking movie wins, and the movie that won was better than 3 Billboards. Right. Like I wasn't a 3 Billboards hater.
Yeah.
I'm a 3 Billboards truther, as a matter of fact. And also now to bring it back to the Lady Bird thing, I did this a lot with 3 Billboards, so I'm kind of being a hypocrite. Where when people slight 3 Billboards, I assume that they didn't understand it. And then I'm like, hey, what did you think of Rockwell's character? And they're like, I don't understand why we were supposed to root for him. I'm like, all right, cool, you didn't get it. And then I move on. And the thing with the Lady Bird tweet, I
saw a good argument about that last night. Like a
was it
thread
the way too long thread?
Probably, but I only saw one. I only saw one of the tweets, and I agreed with it. Like that tweet basically said like whether or not you agree that it's a redemption arc at the end of the movie, like they force you to spend time with that character and like deal with his emotions and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is like a good argument.
But again, like that movie is not supposed to give you all the feels. That movie is supposed to make you fucking feel like shit and be like, how did this fucking woman who did nothing wrong, all she did was have like her heart fucking ripped out of her, and there was never anybody trying to help her. There was never any fucking peace of mind given to her. And this is what she ended up fucking doing because all these assholes just fucking let it happen.
Yeah.
Like that, again. So anyway, but the tweet about the Lady Bird thing was, it tells like the very real relationship that exists between mother and daughter, mother and child, things like that. I mean, I related to Lady Bird a lot. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, like, I had a single mother.
I'm more of a daughter to my mother than I am a son.
Yeah, seriously.
So.
I mean, I grew up in a house with only women, so
yeah, right.
Like,
so
relatable AF.
Right. So when I saw that, like, it tells like the very real, like, super relatable story of blah blah blah, and like maybe because there's a bunch of guys in the academy, they didn't get it, and I'm like, no, I got it.
Right.
Like
I mean, well, that's sort of like
was not the best movie.
Sort of like that clip of Kumail last night, where it's like he was like, I grew up watching white men make movies about white men, and I found that relatable. So why can't a Pakistani man make movies with Pakistani men, and like white men can find that relatable? It's not that hard.
I gotta say, if we're doing like a stock watch thing from the Oscars, Kumail went way up for me, and I already loved Kumail.
I was
fucking with him a little bit.
I was gonna bring this up because you mentioned that like everybody thinks that fucking not winning is a slight.
Yeah.
I loved his tweet when the Big Sick lost. He was like, the Big Sick came in second. That's awesome.
Yeah, he I love him, and I could listen to him do read fucking movie titles forever. He was presenting, and
was it you who said Dunkirk is way cooler in British than it is in English?
But then Kumail said Dunkirk in a presentation after, and I was like, "Fuck, it's really just
cool
cool
in any language other than
anything other
American
than
accent.
like But yeah,
I like how it's like the emphasis is placed on the Kirk when it's in any other language.
Yeah,
like Dunkirk.
Yeah. It is
Americans
really
like Dunkirk.
Every time we have someone with an accent on, we should ask them to say Dunkirk. Next time we have Randy on, because he can do a lot of accents.
Yeah, including Chinese. We've heard it.
And
it's pretty good.
We've heard it, you asshole. No, he's never done that.
Christy Amitopoulos has an accent. Remember?
Oh yeah, we should have
secret British accent
and just say Dunkirk.
Not to like go all in on just fucking like being mad about everything that happened on Twitter last night, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. Fucking, I cannot stand award show Twitter haters.
Oh yeah,
it's the fucking worst. Like, I don't know if it's just because I cared about the Oscars this year more than any other year in the past, but like I for sure was so mad last night and just like so pissed off by all the people being like, here's how much I don't fucking care about the Oscars.
Right,
it's like, cool.
You can spend all your time watching the Oscars. I'd rather do anything else. Like, sit on Twitter and fucking talk to me about how you'd rather do anything else and watch the Oscars. What a fucking loser.
And it's like, I also got the response to like, people who love the movies watch movies. They don't watch awards being handed out for the movies. It's like,
oh, that's wrong.
What the
we
fuck?
watch the awards.
It's just like, imagine going to a sports bar during the Super Bowl and just like shouting at everybody, be like, why do you care so much about football?
Right.
It's like, you realize that like,
it fucking makes
let
me happy.
people enjoy things.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you can be anywhere else in the world right now.
Yeah, fuck me. Like, do you?
It just makes me so fucking mad.
I don't think in the history of this podcast I've ever made fun of fucking wrestling fans. And let me tell you, if we wanted to, there's a pretty big target on those guys.
You do spend a lot of time making fun of Star Wars fans.
Yeah, but they're such fucking dorks. but yeah, just fucking enjoy what you enjoy. Like, there are people who, I don't know, let me think. People who watch fucking documentaries that aren't about food or music. Couldn't be me. But I'm very glad for those people that they're fucking learning shit and everything. That's what they want to do. And I've said this to someone who I get along with on Twitter, like a Twitter pal from hockey Twitter. Mike from Woburn.
Okay. Yeah.
one time he got on me for that, like, oh, well, I'll just wait till your next, like, Grammys tweets or whatever. And I was like, oh, I get it. Because that's a fucking thing that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, cool, what's your point? So, yeah, don't be the guy who fucking rails on...
just because you're not interested in something or you don't care about something, just don't be the fucking guy that's like, why does anybody care about this? Like, if you don't care about it, cool. You don't get a fucking award for caring about it the least.
Right. You get to... Yeah. What did you like least about the show other than the jet ski thing? Because my answer is the jet ski thing.
No, I think it was probably the fucking the surprise people in the theater across the street thing.
Yeah, there's really two candidates, I guess: jet ski and surprising people.
Pretty much, like, honestly, there was nothing that I really enjoyed outside of the presentation of the awards.
Yeah, same. Like, I didn't like
none of the music performances.
Which one was? There was one that was okay.
The Sufjan.
That was fine.
Yeah, like it was.
But I was fucking distracted because fucking Annie Clark was up there, and I was just like, yep,
doing pervy things.
Love
thinking pervy thoughts.
She is a doll.
Yeah, like I just like. It's weird because in every other award show, that's what I'm going there for, like, mainly.
Right, like the pizzazz.
I'm going for, like, the circus.
Yeah. For this,
for the Oscars.
Want results.
Right, if you're going to the Oscars for the circus, you're mostly going to be unhappy unless it's 2017.
Yeah. Whomst gave your favorite speech?
Definitely not Gary Oldman. Holy shit.
No, yeah.
That guy
terrible.
went fucking on and on.
Yeah.
Best speech. I don't know. None of them
Runaway for me.
Really? Who'd you have?
Frances McDormand.
Yeah, she was. I mean, she was good. I think that was
Janney's would have been better if she actually cut it off after saying, "I did it all myself."
Yeah, that'd be great.
She would
have won a jet ski.
If she said, "I did it all myself," jet ski, bitch, and then walked off, that would be fucking terrific.
Oh no, I have a for sure runaway now that I think about it. It's the guy who won for cinematography, Deacon.
Who's that?
The guy with the white hair who was like super cool and like was thanked his wife and was like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, whatever. Yeah.
That guy was like the coolest dude on the face of the planet.
Yeah, he was great.
And also, I had not realized that dude has been robbed for like 2 decades at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his body of work is insane. Like he did like Shawshank Redemption, the No Country for Old Men, like a whole bunch of like unbelievable classic movies, and just had never won.
Speaking of the jet ski thing, I've got to give a little credit. When they made the second jet ski joke, which was, what else will they get? And it was a fucking trip to some fucking stupid lake. I liked the touch of, you and a guest will drive, round trip.
That is awesome.
They snuck that in and didn't call too much attention to it. So it was like if you heard it and thought about it, it was hilarious. Yeah. And otherwise, they're not, like the joke didn't insist upon itself.
Yeah.
And I liked that. The surprising people shit, everyone knew that something like that was going to happen. And the second he starts to set it up, you're like, no, Jimmy, you've fucking done this before. And Jimmy Kimmel was good. He's fine.
As good as you could hope, I guess.
Right.
But like anytime you see that coming, you're like, oh, this is going to consume the next fucking 10 minutes of my life.
Right.
And none of it is going to be enjoyable. And I don't care about any of these people.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I also was getting a little triggered by the every time they showed anybody who said one thing that was funny for 10 seconds, somebody tweeted, this person should be hosting instead of Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. And
I'm like, A, what's your fucking problem with Jimmy Kimmel? And B,
you're allowed to like people without thinking that they should host this thing that you're watching.
Well, it's just projecting like crazy. It's like watching like a fucking like rookie defenseman. I'm making way too many hockey analogies, but it's like having a rookie defenseman come up, play next to Zdeno Chara for like 2 minutes against a bottom pair, and you're like, yeah, that guy should be the number one defenseman. Why isn't? And it's like a fucking like 4A type player. It's like just because somebody was good in one small
context,
thing doesn't mean that they suddenly have. Because like I imagine that like the skill set you need or the experience you need to be a good host for one of those things is
pretty defined.
vast, right? Like you need to be good at like reading prompters and like seeing all that shit, and a lot of that isn't stuff that like your
Normal
average
people
actor
have.
can do. So for me, like, there's only a few people who, when you say they're going to host it, I'm like, oh, good. It's Chris Rock, it's Ellen, and like, Kimmel's fine, but I
Right.
actually think it's kind of just Chris Rock and Ellen. And Chris Rock is good at it because he did it for a fucking million
Or like
years with
Ricky
the MTV
Gervais.
shit. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Ricky Gervais is hilarious.
But I was thinking, like, James Franco was bad.
Oh, yeah.
Anne Hathaway was bad.
They went together.
Yeah, and that was a weird one.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I think that if the host is doing like a fine job and kind of staying out of his way, then,
Right, just don't ruin the show.
or just like fucking wait till after before you're like, hey, fuck Jimmy Kimmel, like, because he really, I don't think he was harming anybody. I don't think he said anything offensive, but he also didn't sound like he was trying to toe any sort of line. I don't know. The more I say it, I think that I'm pretty high on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, I like Jimmy Kimmel a lot.
Yeah.
He's fine. The one of the biggest snubs of the night was the in memoriam section.
Why?
They
Left
missed
out- yeah.
they missed a couple big names. For one, Kevin Spacey.
Yep, forgot
rest
him.
in peace.
He died.
And number 2, Ryan Seacrest.
Yes. Oh God.
Ryan Seacrest. The body was not even cold yet.
Can you explain that to me? Why do they hate Ryan Seacrest?
He was named in the Me Too movement.
Oh.
He like his assistant or whatever. It's like very recently. I think like last week. His a couple either like one or a couple of the people that formerly worked for him accused him of like harassing and whipping that peen out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
God, Ryan.
I think that's what it was. But like Taraji P. Henson just absolutely body bagged him on the red carpet, which
Yes.
is fucking hilarious.
Yes, that was amazing.
And he was trying so hard to be like super nice the entire night too. And I think I saw that like apparently a lot of celebrities just, like skipped his station on the red carpet.
Really?
Yeah, like he had trouble getting interviews. And E was airing their broadcast of the red carpet on delay so that they could dump out in case any of the interviewees
Really?
said anything to him.
Well, that would be like that anyway. Like, there would be a delay there anyway. I think that might be like a thing where after the Matt Lauer thing, was it Matt Lauer? Did Matt Lauer? Yeah, Matt Lauer was a big one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when Matt Lauer got outed for all his shenanigans, apologies for lack of a better term, there was they said, oh, well, he had a button on his desk that locked the door, and apparently every office there has a button that locks the door. So like that wasn't a specific to him thing.
Right.
So I feel like that the detail of like they had it on a delay, unless like I can't imagine anything like the little TV I've done. Everything's on a delay. Everything's on like I think it's 8 seconds.
But it was 30 seconds.
Ooh,
for
really?
Yeah. So there was like an extra
They
wiggle
have like
room there.
3 like lines of defense. That is not good.
Yeah, so his stylist, years of unwanted sexual aggression, grinding his erect penis against her while clad only in his underwear, groping her vagina, and at one point slapping her buttocks so hard that it left a large welt.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so that's like, those are pretty strong allegations.
Oh my god! What a fucking!
It's amazing that like they did not pull him from that duty, which is, I mean, oh man, that was crazy to me because like anybody can do that job.
Yeah. Here's a little debate I got in with a coworker. So there was a clip where they showed someone from Black Panther. I forget who it was, and they one of the people was like, "Oh yeah, well, like Wakanda forever," and just kind of struggled through trying to say Wakanda. Clearly didn't know it well enough to say it confidently, and then they just kind of moved on. And so one of my coworkers posted that clip and was like, "Holy shit!" And nobody else on the set even knew that she fucked up. And I was like, if I were on that set, I would, just for like keeping my job's sake, I would not have been like, hey, idiot, it's Wakanda.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have even been like, oh, you mean Wakanda? Because afterwards they would have been like,
what the fuck, man?
really?
Yeah.
Why'd you have to fucking do that? Like, I know I fucked up. I knew as I was saying that I probably didn't know what the name of that place was.
Yeah.
And then like my boss would be up my fucking ass or whatever. What would you do?
I would probably just make a face and then not say anything.
Right, you hope the camera's on you, so like there could be a little gif of like, all right, so Pete's the good guy. He's not right.
Yeah.
He's not trying to ruin that person's day more than they just fucking ruined it themselves.
Right.
Yeah. What else? Who did you think was good on Twitter last night? I think that Jeff was the best, actually.
Jeff
Israel.
Lowe? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Jeff Israel is built for like award show Twitter.
Right, but he's like the Lady Bird 3 billboards range usually. He's not like Billy Eichner is the Get Out. You know,
yeah.
usually. I don't think was Billy Eichner at something. I didn't see anything funny from him.
Yeah, I think he was at some party. I saw like a few tweets, but nothing crazy.
You had a great tweet. It was after Best Original Score. You said no, the Best Original Score was the sex scene in
fucking
Ingrid Goes West.
I think the sneakiest best part of that tweet was just calling him Ice Cube Jr.
I saw. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I was like, you know his fucking name, you dick.
But no, I think my best tweet of the night was right after the performance of This Is Me, and I tweeted the gif of Patrick from SpongeBob saying, "No, this is Patrick."
So I didn't get that reference.
Very small shelf life.
I pieced it together.
It's just like somebody calling the Krusty Krab, being like, "Hey, is this the Krusty Krab?" No, this is Patrick.
Yeah, I would. Does that happen?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. I didn't realize this, but apparently SpongeBob is rife with ween references.
Really?
Yeah. Like I don't know who.
SpongeBob rules.
Yeah. So there's a. So I know that SpongeBob uses their song "Ocean Man." You know that song?
No.
Ocean Man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand.
Nope.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard it in a SpongeBob thing or whatever, but there was I just found it was a little YouTube thing, and it was like all of the Ween references in SpongeBob, and I watched it, and it's like hilarious, like quoting pretty specific lyrics.
That's wild.
Yeah,
I'm a little disappointed that you didn't fire off the Casey Affleck tweet.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot to.
Ugh,
I focused
that was a good
grouped it
tweet,
on-
man.
Yeah, to those who weren't in the very fun Instagram live thing we did yesterday, I tweeted, "Are we sure that replacing Casey Affleck is a good idea? Wouldn't it be better if we could keep an eye on him?"
It's a pretty good one.
It's
Might have ruffled some feathers. Might have towed a water in little lukewarm water, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good tweet.
yeah,
Should've
like I
done
didn't
it.
feel good enough about it because like just joking about that at all
Yeah.
is
Gotta come with a
is
humdinger.
bad form. But I like the idea of pointing out that like these like some of these people are actually fucking children and like need to be fucking babysat. Yeah.
So for predictions, you went 3 for 9, and I went 5 for 9.
Ooh.
So congrats to us for not being great at that. But you said something before the show that I sort of disagreed with, and it was about Richard Jenkins. You said that it was like a bummer that he's going to be an afterthought because he for sure wasn't going to win Best Supporting Actor, which ended up going to Sam Rockwell. But I disagree with that. Like, I don't think that he's going to be an afterthought.
Well, now
maybe
that
in the
it
minds
won-
of like normal, just like average movie watchers.
Yeah.
But he's for sure not an afterthought anymore in Hollywood.
Now that it won Best Picture, now it'll be the like, oh well, Richard Jenkins, he was
like
so
an
good,
integral
and
part of
The
The Shape of Water. But I also just think that like he's in a spot that he's gonna get big roles.
Yeah, I was told by a pal that apparently he didn't get any real work until like a really old age.
Well, he was a
He's only
theater
been in
actor
shit
first.
for like 10, 15 years, something like that.
Hollywood. I think
Yeah.
he was like a theater actor for a
Oh,
while.
yeah. He was. I'm saying though, like he was just like working around Rhode
Struggling.
Island and
Yeah,
shit
okay, yeah.
forever, and then I don't know what his first role was, but he fucking crushes in Step Brothers,
Yep.
obviously.
But I'm so glad that was my biggest reason for disagreeing with your take on that is that like now
like,
he's not
he's
going to be
arrived.
the dad from Stepfathers. He's going to be the guy from Shape of Water.
I didn't correct you there and say you mean Step Brothers, because then after the show you'd be like, "What the fuck was that?" I know. It's called Step Brothers. I misspoke.
What did I say?
You said Stepfathers.
Oh, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for not calling attention to that.
Right. So
I appreciate that.
It's what people do. They look out for each other.
That a movie called Stepfathers with Richard Jenkins would be hilarious.
Yes. On the stock watch thing, Timothee Chalamet way up in my book.
What did he do? Just being there?
He's just so fucking excited about life.
I know.
I just want to like suck the
I
fucking
said this last night,
joy
but like,
out
it
of
would
him.
be great to go to a comedy show or like just a funny movie with that kid because he thinks everything is the funniest fucking thing in the world. Anytime they cut to him, he's like, "Wow!" And I'm like, man, I wish I had the joy for life as that kid does.
So sometimes you see a celebrity out in public or whatever. If you're like us, usually you're among them. Most parties we attend, but sometimes you see a celebrity out in public and you're like, I'm not going to bother him. Like I think I've told the story of the time I saw Chad Smith at the airport.
Yeah.
And I just kind of gave him a look of like,
I know who you are.
and it was cool. But you just don't want to fucking blow up their spot. If I ever see Timothee Chalamet out in public, I'm
like,
for
"Timmy!"
sure going over to him and being like, "Hi, Timothy. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan of your work. I wasn't floored by Call Me By Your Name, but I just think that you seem great." Because his reaction to being met in public would be like, "Wow,
thanks,
no way!
man."
Oh, thank you. Hey, like, what's your name?" And he would fucking.
He's got like 3 more years of enjoying life,
Yeah.
and then he's gonna be.
It's gonna suck when he's depressed.
Yeah.
That's coming. But
How
if-
old is he? Like in
22,
IRL?
I think.
Wow, that's. I mean, he's surpassed the joy phase that I
Yeah.
expected him to have. So good for him.
Yeah, I was on to alcoholism by then, I would say.
Casual
Yeah,
alcoholism.
he. If there were like a Space Jam scenario where, like, Glee and Joy were coveted, you know,
Yeah. And,
like they would
stuffed
for
in a
sure
basketball.
suck the fuck out of like his neck or whatever. And
Yeah.
just drip.
It's like a
He
vampire.
would be the golden goose. They'd be like, we need to get to fucking Chalamet.
He'd be the basketball that they all put their hands on to fucking steal the power.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, and also the fact that he brought his mom to the show.
Yeah, that's so. I was gonna. That's another tweet I didn't tweet. It was mainly because it was just like too obvious a joke. I was gonna say, really cool move of Timothee Chalamet to bring his mom. If I ever get invited to an award ceremony, I'm bringing his mom too.
I think the better joke there is it sucks that Timothee Chalamet had to bring his mom as a chaperone to make sure Armie Hammer kept his hands to himself.
That would have been a lot better. Armie Hammer. Jeff had a great tweet. It was so. How was the screening of Wrinkle in Time? Armie Hammer shot me with a hot dog.
I like Jeff's tweet about how come Armie Hammer's brother hasn't done anything
That
since the
was
Social
great.
Network.
Yeah. Just shit like Jeff had a really really good night. He was hovering at like 89 the whole way.
Yeah.
Were there any? What were the outrages other than? Like, Daniel Day-Lewis honestly doesn't even count because we knew it was happening. And we
Yeah,
were
I mean,
resigned
like
to it,
all of
but
the things that I'm upset about or like kind of bummed about, I thought were going to happen.
There's
so
only
it makes
one.
it easier to stomach.
There's only one for me, and that's Janny winning over Metcalf. Like
Yeah.
Lady Bird, I did
That's
not
easier
think
to
Lady Bird
that's-
should have been swept because I thought that Laurie Metcalf was such a shoo-in.
I thought she was great, but like to me, that's easier to stomach because the best person in that category wasn't nominated,
That's true, yeah.
which is
Like
fine.
it's like everyone was playing for second place anyway. Really,
I thought that it was kind of crazy that Dunkirk like swept all the audio and editing things.
that doesn't totally surprise
I thought Baby
me.
Driver was for sure going to take
Oh, right.
take editing.
Yeah, I would have said like maybe like editing for Baby Driver and mixing for Dunkirk. Like I could see there being like a split there, but yeah, I don't know. Like the grandest shit is usually what wins.
Right.
I think I couldn't tell you one other winner of editing or mixing, but I would imagine the grandest thing with like the craziest sounds and stuff.
And this
would
was the
win.
first time that Christopher Nolan ever made a movie that didn't have the
Oh yeah, that's true.
sounds all through the movie. So
Yeah.
congrats to him for the innovation. I'm really fucking happy. Out of all these things that have made me a little bit bummed, that canceled out by my absolute joy that the Post did not win anything.
I know, and that's why I'm angrier that that Metcalf didn't win Best Supporting Actress, because I was doing some Googling I just like Googled like Oscars to see what people were talking about, to see if there was any like big thing that happened after we went to bed or whatever, and it was like Oscars, Lady Bird, The Post, shut out. And I was like, ooh, that sucks for Lady Bird. Not that they were shut out, but that they're in
the same
that they're lumped
category
in
of
with The
snub
Post.
as The
Right.
Post.
Like, The Post fucking blew. Lady Bird was really good.
Right. You could say that like Lady Bird was snubbed.
Right.
But you can't say that the Post was snubbed. The Post was shut out because it was
Right.
deservedly
that's
shut
right.
out.
Yes. Snubbed versus shut out. Is there anything that you took away from the show? Maybe a little life lesson, because it was a big one for me.
Ooh, no. But
If
go
I
on.
ever win an award, I am going to thank a lot of dead people, because
They won't. They turn that music off real quick.
Yes.
Did you notice that the dude who
guy
was
was
getting
like,
played off, and then he was like,
"And
"And my dead mom," and they were like, "Whoa, shit!"
A, you can say whatever the fuck you want. You can go as long as you want, and most importantly for me, you control the story.
Why?
Because if I fuck it, like say you die,
Yeah.
which will never happen.
Thanks.
I'll be able to. People will be like, "Hey, so how was your relationship with Pete?" And I could be like, "It was really great, but what I liked most about it was how much he looked up to me." And you can't be like, "What?
Wait a minute here."
What? You know, like so, because a guy was thanking like some dead people, and he did like project like relationships and how they got along. Like, you can say whatever the fuck you want about that person because they can't defend themselves. Right. So I could be like, hey, I just want to thank Steven Spielberg. I met him one time, and he told me that I changed his life. And then like give like a little shrug of like, for all you know,
goes up there and is like, Paul Walker was a real inspiration, but man, that guy hated puppies.
yeah, exactly.
I know that about Paul Walker.
Right. Well, it's been said, and I don't hear anyone refuting it. Paul, got anything to say? What? Death got your tongue? Yeah.
Notable lack of Paul Walker tributes.
Did he die in a car accident?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I guess I just never.
He wasn't driving.
Oh. I never
That's
thought about
that's
how
the worst
he
way
died.
to end in a car. Die in a car accident is when it's not your fault.
What's that? It's worse. You're saying?
It's way worse to die when it's not your fault.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Paul.
Yeah, noticeable lack of Paul Walker tributes at the Oscars this year. So progress there.
Interesting.
The person working the music board at the Oscars for sure should have worked for E. Then they wouldn't have had that 30-second delay because that person's got a fucking quick trigger on ending the music.
Yeah. That was hilarious. Did people react a lot to that?
I didn't see anybody mention that, so I'm glad that you brought it up.
Yeah. And the other one was, who's the old woman that wore the same fucking dress that she
Rita
wore
Moreno?
3,000 years ago? Who the fuck cares?
She looks pretty good.
Right.
Honestly, this was like, if there's one takeaway for me from this Oscars is that a lot of the old women looked hot.
Oh my God! Well,
it's unbelievable.
Jane Fonda.
Oh yeah, I wrote them down. Helen Mirren.
Yeah,
looked fantastic.
Well, Mirren's
what is she like? 72? I think she's like 72 years old, and I was like, wow, that makes me feel weird.
Age is the first thing that 72. Age
Wow.
is the first thing that comes up on her autocomplete.
Nicole Kidman has been putting an absolute
Oh,
beat
well,
down
God,
on middle age.
she's-
But I was like never into Nicole Kidman since like the past year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, she's always been fucking scrumptious. Big
Big Little Lies, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, this award show.
I gotta
like,
see The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
It's fucking weird, man. So Jennifer Garner also looked fucking unbelievable. Jane Fonda, Sandra Bullock, Rita Moreno, Emily Blunt looks
So you've got a
fucking great.
huge range here. So you're not just saying old people, right?
I mean, like middle-aged to old. Like all of those classify as middle-aged to old.
Well, like you're ranging, I feel, from like 40 to 75.
As soon as you hit 40, it's middle-aged to me.
Yeah, but like Emily Blunt,
That is like past the point where you're supposed to be hot.
that's not true.
That's absolutely true.
Let me see. Then how come so many of these? How come some of these girls were hot? Emily Blunt's 35.
No. So I wasn't putting her
Yeah.
in like the old. I was just putting down a list of my winners.
Okay.
So like Emma Stone is in there.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie's in there.
Emma Stone looked unbelievable.
Lupita. I don't know how to say her last
Lupita
name.
Nyong'o,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. She made the joke last night that nobody knows how to pronounce her name. Did she
Really?
present? Did she present with Kumail?
I can't remember. I was too taken by his pronunciation of Dunkirk. It's delicious.
Yeah. So also the girl from Baby Driver.
Oh God, yeah, she
looked
was
great.
unbelievable.
The
Yeah,
yellow dress,
the yellow, yeah.
Mwah. The only thing that I kind of like hate about award shows is that we love to grade the guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring.
Yeah.
For the most part, when guys take the red carpet,
Tell you who looked awesome was Daniel Kaluuya. You see his
the brown tux,
Yeah. With the, and I think it had like a black lapel. So really playing it fast and loose with the matchy.
I liked Jordan Peele with the all white tux and the black bow tie.
Yeah. I liked his. So he had, it was like it wasn't shiny but his lapel was, and it's just a very very subtle difference. Looked great.
I noticed though, there were a few people that had the blue on black or the black on blue.
Yeah.
But that was like the huge trend that just like swept up Hollywood like a couple years ago or last year, was it? This year, Velvet.
Oh yeah,
It was the big winner this year for the guys.
Yeah, the black and blue look. It used to be really exciting, and I used to be huge into it, and now I just do it normally. It's almost like a frumpy look for me now, just because it's just like it's so
look at me.
accepted. It
Yeah.
doesnend.
You're not pushing any boundary or like you pushing any envelopes there.
Right,
You're
like-
not like pushing fashion forward. Everybody knows this is in.
Right, because I remember that there was a look I used to do to work when I would wear a suit, and it was just a navy suit with black dress shoes, and I used to love I just felt fucking good in that getup because I'm like, I am breaking the rules and I fucking know it, and it caught the eye.
Yeah.
And now if you do that, you just fucking look like a guy.
Can't talk about fashion at the Oscars last night without mentioning that fucking guy who wore those huge ass sunglasses, the
Yeah.
3/4 jacket
I was over
sleeve.
jokes about that guy before they even came.
Yeah,
I was so
but I
annoyed
mean-
when they showed him. I was like,
But
oh,
you had to at least dedicate 5 minutes to
Yeah.
the absolute absurdity of that outfit.
what
because
were
he
the
was
good
wearing?
jokes about it?
I saw one. I think you retweeted it with like missing the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
What was? It was like a basketball
he's about
joke.
to be drafted.
By the Browns. Yeah.
yeah.
I said that the guy's gonna have to pawn his Oscar to get the other fourth of his
That
sleeves
was
back.
good. Yep, that was good.
But no, that was like the only one that like really struck me as what the fuck is that person doing?
How about Daniel Day-Lewis with
Shaved
the
head?
Sans hair? Yeah,
I didn't like that.
the little Doug Stamper look.
I mean, like he can pull it off because
Yeah.
he's Daniel Day-Lewis and he's more handsome than people give him credit for.
definitely. We didn't get any Daniel Day-Lewis.
I know,
He
unbelievable.
just fucking
And
sat there and
it's his
silence, retired.
It's his last
Yeah.
role, allegedly. I don't know if I believe that, but we'll see. I hope not. But yeah, I thought that his hair was perfect. It was moi in Phantom Thread.
it was so great.
So I wanted him to keep
Yeah.
that look. It was kind of jarring to go from the Phantom Thread clips to him with like a buzz cut.
Did you know that Paul Thomas Anderson and Maya Rudolph? Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, did you know that they were a thing?
No.
They've like been a thing apparently.
Really?
Yeah, since I think 2001 or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So did you know that she basically inspired Phantom Thread?
Yes, maybe. I didn't know. I feel that this is a bad example because I just couldn't fucking remember her name, but I've been a big SNL guy. I feel like if someone from SNL is in a celebrity couple, you'd know it. Like, how did I not know that?
Right, like it was Chelsea Peretti. She was not SNL, right?
No.
But she's like a big time comedy person, and everybody
Yeah.
fucking knows that she's with Jordan Peele.
Right. But I
It's-
guess it's because maybe they came together while Twitter existed. So maybe
So it
that's
just kind of flew under the radar. But yeah, I mean, Maya Rudolph inspired inspired Phantom Thread because it was inspired by him getting sick. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and like her taking care of him and then like him having to open up and being vulnerable after getting sick.
Really? Is that like Paul Thomas Anderson said
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Wow, very interesting. Yeah, we didn't get enough Paul Thomas Anderson. Didn't get enough Daniel Day-Lewis. Could have used a little more Phantom Thread love. I was very
know.
upset that Johnny Greenwood didn't win.
Yeah, but we both picked Alexander Desplat.
Yeah, did we ever? They gave him an award, and I still don't know his name. What did they say it?
No.
I don't think they did.